Folks, it seems like there's a plane crash every single day this year, except this time with the Delta crash that happened in Toronto. Luckily, nobody lost their lives. And while we're not exactly sure statistically if there are more crashes post-Trump getting rid of DEI, it definitely seems like it wasn't the power of lift keeping planes in the air, it was actually being woke the whole time, including our last Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, whom the current Secretary of Transportation is trying to slander as the reason why all of these planes are crashing. But just as a reminder, make sure to like the video if you're liking the video, and subscribe to join the woke jokers taking over Gotham City.
Every day that wokeness is not reinstated in this country, people will DEI. Starting tonight. I'm a they, them of my word.
Unfortunately, there has been another major plane crash. This time, thankfully, nobody was fatally injured.
Seeing new video given to investigators that shows the moments the Delta plane flipped over after a fiery landing. This video is being reviewed by authorities. 3 people we know were critically injured, but remarkably, most of the 80 passengers on board managed to walk away with no injuries.
Talk about the process of evacuating an upside-down plane.
You know, I don't know if a CRJ like this even has slides, Wolf. It is really critical to get out because seconds mean lives. And everybody here escaped with their life.
However, it didn't take long for the far-right media to start blaming diversity for the crash. The first thing you'll see under the top posts tab is Libs of TikTok, who's followed by Pete Hegseth, by the way, posting this, the pinned video on Delta's TikTok account, which is clearly advocating for women in the airline industry, something that wink wink nod nod may be responsible for why Delta's planes just crashed. And you can bet whatever narrative far-right accounts are running with on Twitter are exactly in line with what the Trump administration's narratives are. But instead of blaming women, they're blaming Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg, who had no major crashes under his tenure, mind you, has been rightly pointing out all of the dangerous actions that the Trump administration has been taking. After Trump fired 400 employees from the FAA, Mayor Pete tweeted, "The flying public needs answers. How many FAA personnel were just fired? What positions? And why?" And really, it's just because they were in their probationary period, which doesn't mean that they were in trouble or that they were new to their agencies, just means that they were in the first couple of years of their current position. Pete tweeting this must have triggered something in the MAGA brain because they went absolutely haywire. Here's Senator Mullen on Fox getting very emotional about the fact that anybody would ever insult his dear leader Trump.
Well, first of all, Pete Buttigieg, who was a mayor, and that was his only qualification, has no right to say anything. Remember, he had 90% of the workforce working from home and didn't require them to come to the office, including himself. And so right now you have Sean Duffy, who is doing his absolute best to bring accountability back to the agency. But I do want to make a point. The FAA has 45,000 employees. 400 was laid off, and every one of these were in their probation period. Not one critical person was let go. And Buttigieg knows that, but he doesn't care to do it. And
we already went over the probationary period. Somebody could have been with the FAA for 5 years, gone over to a different agency, came back to the FAA, and now you're on probationary period again. That doesn't mean that these people aren't critical. Probationary does not mean not critical. And on top of that, what do you mean working from home? You don't care if he's working from home. Trump's working from home right now. He's signing executive orders at Mar-a-Lago for some reason. Remember the first term when Trump spent half of his time at Mar-a-Lago? That's the whole reason why he got in trouble for keeping documents in his bathroom. He was working from home. And then he has the audacity to say that Pete Buttigieg, who was a veteran and got elected mayor of his town and then became Secretary of Transportation, is somehow unqualified to have that position, when Sean Duffy, reality TV star who once showed his ass to Manhattan, is somehow more qualified? What the hell does he know about keeping the public safe from plane crashes? He can't even keep the public safe from his dick and balls. And mind you, crazy past aside, this is what he's been doing during maybe the most critical time ever to be Secretary of Transportation. Here's the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, heading to spend his afternoon at the Daytona 500 yesterday with Donald Trump. Duffy is well on his way to becoming the worst Secretary of Transportation in history. That's right, him and the kids went on a little vacation to Daytona, not worrying about the floods that are shutting down roads in Kentucky or the planes that are literally falling out of the air. Nope, gonna take the kids on a little trip on the taxpayers' dollars. But don't worry folks, Sean Duffy's doing a little bit of work. He's tweeting back at Pete Buttigieg. Here's what Pete said earlier, and here's what Secretary Sean Duffy said from his official account. Mayor Pete failed for 4 years to address the air traffic controller shortage and upgrade our outdated World War II era air traffic control system. In less than 4 weeks, we have already begun the process and are engaging the smartest minds in the world. Here's the truth. The FAA alone has a staggering 45,000 employees, less than 400 were let go, and they were all probationary. Does this sound kind of familiar? Almost exactly verbatim what Senator Mullen was saying on Fox News, meaning they had been hired less than a year ago. 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. Mayor Pete chose to use this amazing department that is so critical to America's success as a slush fund for the Green New scam and environmental justice nonsense. Not to mention that over 90% of the workforce under his leadership were working from home, including him. The building was empty. Again, another Senator Mullen talking point. But also, I just wish I lived in this world that Republicans do, where the Green New Deal, actually passed the House and became law. That thing was dead as soon as AOC put her name on it. There was no way that thing was going to pass Congress, even if it was controlled by all Democrats. They bring up the Green New Deal more than AOC has, and it's been years since it didn't pass. When we finally get a full accounting of his mismanagement, I look forward to hearing from him. In the meantime, I will not rest until I return the Department of Transportation and its incredible employees to its mission of efficiency and safety. Yeah, he's been doing a real great job so far. Pete got him with a good reply though too. At least one of the claims here concerning telework rates is demonstrably false, so forgive us for seeking more specifics on the rest. Is the secretary claiming, and will he show, that none of the hundreds of FAA personnel he just fired were important to safety? That's my question too. He made a bold claim here that 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. We can probably tell if 0 air traffic controllers were let go, but how does he know that 0 critical safety personnel were let go? It seemed like he doesn't even know who was let go. I think David Hogg, the new vice chair of the DNC, made a good point too. Get off Twitter, go do your job, and tell your boss to try practicing even a basic amount of empathy and human decency in the wake of tragedies like we saw at DC. Couldn't have said it better myself. So at least Mayor Pete is out there putting some pressure on these assholes, and really, this video perfectly sums up how I feel about it too. So I'll leave you with this. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, maybe this is like a hot take. Really over the planes falling out of the sky and crashing stuff. Me personally, I'm over that. Would love if that would stop. Get it together? I don't know. Oh, a plane crash landed upside down. Oh, is that crazy? That was a close one. 8 people injured. What are you talking about? It should be in a million burning pieces. There should be a pile of corpses inside that wreckage. What are you talking